Hey, Brian Wall here of worshiptutorials.com and brianwallmusic.com. Now, many of you have asked me on YouTube, what kind of guitar do you play? Today I'm going to answer your question, and I'm going to do a review of my acoustic guitar of choice. This is a Martin D-35. It is a dreadnought guitar. Now the Martin D series means dreadnought, and sort of the iconic classic acoustic guitar by which all other acoustic guitars are judged is the Martin D-28. You may have heard of the D-28. And as the numbers go higher on the D series guitars, they get a little bit more ornate. Martin puts a little more bling on them. So if you can imagine, this D-35 is Martin's idea of more bling, but it's not really that blingy. So it does have a few things that the D-28 does not have, like binding up the neck, for example, and sort of the trademark, this is how you know you got a D-35 in your hands, is the back has this beautiful three-piece back. Now let's talk about materials that this thing is made out of. The top is solid spruce. I believe it is Sitka spruce. The back and the sides, I believe the back of the neck, are made of East Indian rosewood. The fingerboard is ebony. You don't find a lot of ebony fingerboards out there. Ebony is, it's really hard and it's smooth, and so when you play it, it feels nice and silky. I like it. This is also made of ebony. Let's move on. How does this thing sound? This is why I bought the guitar. I dig the Martin sound. Now, I am a worship leader, and I have friends who are worship leaders. And every worship leader in the world feels like they have to play a Taylor guitar. They all have Taylors. I like Taylor guitars, but Taylor has this more kind of a delicate, very balanced, very delicate sound. They sound nice, but I like a guitar to have a little more punch, which is what I think Martins do really, really well. So Martin, it's a very well balanced sound. It's sort of bass heavy, I think, but it's very balanced, very rich, lots of overtones, lots of harmonics going on. Let me strum a chord so you can see what I'm talking about. There it is, there's a C. I'm going to let it hang on the minor. That sounds very dark. Okay, but as you can tell, it's got a very warm, round tone to it. Like I said, I like it because it punches. A lot of guitars that I have played in the past, when you dig into them, when you're picking, when you're strumming, they kind of fart. I don't like that. Guitars are not supposed to fart. They're supposed to punch. So I will play some chords and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Hopefully that came across in the microphone that I'm using. This is a punchy, nice sounding guitar. So, I need to grab a capo, that's what I'm looking at over here. Because one thing I like about this guitar is it plays well with a capo. Off I go to get it, and I will be back. Alright, so let's put the capo on the 3rd fret and play away. Now sometimes when you put a capo on a guitar, it starts to sound kind of thin. I think the Martin stays nice and full. I like it. Okay. It does well with finger picking. Now, if you are a big finger picking, fingerstyle guitar player, I would recommend a different Martin, the triple O body style, or the Taylor 14 series, like the 414 or the 814 or the 914. If you have a lot of money to spend on a 914, they are expensive. But I think this guitar does it fairly well. Let me do a little bit for you. To me, it sounds nice and round and warm when you finger pick it, and I like it. It works well enough for what I do for sure. Okay, other things I like about this guitar, it is extremely ridiculously well made. I played a D-35 in a shop a few years ago that was built like in the 70s, and it sounded really, really good. Better than this one. I came away from that thinking, in 30 years, my guitar will sound kind of like the one I just played. So I've got to hold on to this thing for a while, and I plan to. When you buy a guitar like this, you will spend a little bit of money on it, but it will last years and years and years, and you will give it to your children, and then they will give it to their children, I hope. And then maybe one day one of them will start a rock and roll band and slam it down on the stage and break it to pieces. And that will end the dynasty of your guitar. But the finish, I don't remember what the finish is. Let me look it up. Alright, so the website that I found says the finish is polished gloss, which is extremely ambiguous. What the heck does polished gloss mean? I will say that the guitar feels like it breathes fairly well, so it's not like this really thick poly coat. I would think it's more like a nitro lacquer or something. I'm not sure. It does seem like it's it's a bit delicate. Now, I play this guitar a lot. I play 2 services every weekend leading worship, and I sweat a lot, which is kind of gross, but it's true. And so this guitar has taken all of the sweat that I have poured into it, and it is still living and breathing today, but it is starting to see some wear. The finish is starting to, like right here on the binding between the body, the wood, and the binding, the finish is kind of starting to come away. And you know what? That doesn't bother me. Like here where I strum, it's starting to rub some of the finish off, and you're getting into the raw wood underneath. That stuff doesn't bother me. I kind of like a guitar to look like it's been used a little bit. I'm not one of these guys that has to have it pristine. It's not like I'm careless with it, but if it has a few blemishes here and there, it doesn't bother me. I've noticed that you probably can't see it in the video, but like there's kind of like this hazing in the back where it sits against my body, and it's probably because like I have just poured like gallons of sweat into the back of this guitar, which is kind of gross. But I'm guessing that's why there's maybe some like kind of hazy discoloration there. It probably looks nice and shiny on the video, so you'll just have to take my word for it. The tuning machines are super high quality. All this down here is super high quality, and it never goes out of tune, or rarely goes out of tune. That's a big thing for me. It's a pet peeve when guitars go out of tune. I don't like it. This is also made of ebony, the bridge. Let's see, what else? What do I not like about it? The back of the neck is a little bit sticky. The neck itself is really nice. It's good. It's a good profile. I like kind of a chunkier neck. Taylor, I will give them this. Taylor has the most comfortable acoustic guitar neck I've ever played. It's awesome. So this is not quite as comfortable to me as a Taylor, but it is certainly very comfortable. It feels maybe a little bit thicker, chunkier than a standard Telecaster, which a lot of people have played. So it's kind of that C shape, that kind of a feel. The action on this particular guitar, that's probably not going to do much for you to see it, but it is very nice. I recommend that you get your guitar set up by a good guitar tech. Like, don't take it to Guitar Center to have them set it up. Find a local guy in a shop and tell them how you like to play it. So I told him I like to strum a lot, and I kind of dig in, and I don't want it to buzz, and it doesn't, but yet the strings are still fairly close to the neck. It's just perfect for my taste. Intonation is spot on. If I'm playing, it's in tune, which I like. It would be bad if it weren't. So sometimes I miss the cutaway, but I like the look of a guitar without a cutaway. I'm not a big fan of cutaway guitars. I do have one, so I don't dislike them that much. but sometimes I miss it if I'm trying to play. If I'm trying to play this B up here, which I do sometimes, you can't get to it. And just how nice that rings out when you're playing way up on the 16th fret is a good testament to how well made this guitar is. So, to recap, what I like about this guitar: the way it sounds, the way it looks, the way it's built, the way it feels. It's just nice. It just rings and you can feel it in your gut when you're playing it. I love it. Oh, one more thing that I like about this guitar: it smells really, really good. If you are ever in a guitar center or a shop and they've got some nice Martin guitars in there, stick your nose in the sound hole and take a good whiff. You'll be glad that you did. It smells delicious. I don't like the stickiness of the neck, at least for me. The finish seems a bit delicate, but I'm definitely going to live with it because I think that lets the guitar breathe a little bit, and it lets the wood vibrate a little bit, and it sounds richer than if you put like this thick poly coating on it. Other than that, it does not come with electronics. That's one thing to think about. You'll have to get your own. I put K&K Pure Western Mini pickups in here, and I like them a lot. I will probably do a review of those as well. They're nice, affordable pickups to put in. And I can't think of anything else to say about it other than you should check out a Martin guitar and see if it's for you. I dig it. I have a question for you, though. I want to know, what is your favorite guitar and why? Tell me in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye.